And she basically was like, hey, like, honestly, the concern here is internal bleeding, and the only way we're going to be able to find out if you're bleeding or not is another CT scan. And I was like, yeah, I figured. Of course, I want to make sure everything's okay, even if I don't have internal bleeding. Like, it's not a waste. I do want to make sure that I'm not bleeding. So she orders the CT scan, they prep me for CT, and then she comes back and she says, you're not bleeding internally, so that's good. But I feel like you guys aren't completely aware of what's going on. And we're like, no, this is very new, this whole cancer thing, very, very new for us. No one, I shall say, no one in my immediate family has ever had cancer. I'm the first person on both sides of, like, immediate, like, back to grandparents, to have cancer. The last person to have had cancer on either side of my family was my great-grandmother on my dad's side. So actually on my dad's side note, tangent, on my dad's side I have my grandparents. So my grandma and my grandpa. My grandma's mom had cancer, and my grandfather's mom had cancer, and his sister had cancer. So it skipped a lot of people and then hit me, if it's related at all, which we don't know. So she basically says, I don't think that you've been given a lot of information on what's going on. She's like, you have what's considered to be stage 4 cancer, because it has metastasized. So she said stage 4 cancer, and we're like, oh shit, you know, like, what does that mean? Like, because that's a big thing. And she just said it's metastasized, so it's spread. It started at an initial site, and it has spread to multiple sites. And so you are dealing with something that is growing. She also told me, like, it's primarily in my liver, and that my liver is basically encapsulated by tumors. So that's how I found out how serious the tumor situation was with my liver. Little side note, this entire time, so she tells me, I got up to go to the bathroom or something, and she pulled me aside, or we were going to leave, and she pulled me aside on my own at some point. I don't exactly remember how she cornered, like, kind of, like, got me. She didn't corner me. How she kind of, like, got me away from my family, and she basically said, she's like, do what you want to do. Go have fun now, because pretty soon you're not going to be able to. And I was like, what? She's like, if you want to go out with friends and drink, do it now. Have your last, like, hoorah. And so that's what I did that weekend. I immediately called my boyfriend, and I said, who's free? We're going out. And that's a whole other story that I may touch on in another video separately. Right now I'm just going through important dates. And so the reason that I brought up that we ended up going out is because we came home late one night after being out, and of course he knows my situation, and he was with me for the entire colon thing, so, like, we're tight. We're, like, best friends. Like, I love this man to death. Sorry. I really love him. So, we come home, and he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, it's like 4:30 in the morning, I want to go to bed. I don't really feel great. He's like, no, but, like, if you could do anything right now, what would you do? And I'm like, go to bed. Let's go to bed. I love you. And he's like, let's go to Tahoe. I'll drive you to Yosemite. You can sleep in the car and wake up to the sunrise. And I'm like, oh my God. What is sparking this? I'm like, you are so beautiful and like, thank you. And that's so romantic, but I want to be here with you falling asleep in bed right now. And he's like, but if you wanted to, like, I don't care, I would take you. And I'm like, I believe you wholeheartedly, and I love you to death, but like, no. And so we've talked about getting married before, and how we don't care, like, to get married anytime soon. We established that basically when we saw our future, we saw a future of us being together for like the long haul. So we were like, we can get married when we're 30 or 40, like who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. We don't need to be like young and married because that's what everyone does. So he ends up asking me, I had to really get it out of him too. He ends up asking me, have you changed your mind about marriage? And I was like, you know, honestly, with this entire situation, I have thought about like, I could get married, like, screw it, let's do it, kind of thing. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, like, I've thought about it. I mean, this is a life-changing thing, like, why not? Just like make our stuff official. And he, like, I was like, we don't have to, but like, I've thought about it. He's like, I've thought about it too. And I was like, oh. And then we start talking, and we start getting into what we would want, and blah blah blah, and yada yada. And so the next day we had plans to go out with friends, one of his best friends, and his best friend's girlfriend, and I love them so much, they're so amazing. And he had told me, like, I want to do this right, I want to talk to your dad, like, I want to, you know, get you a ring, yada yada. And I'm like, well, you kind of have to get me a ring. And so on May 18th, we went out with friends, and there's this whole thing planned that I had no idea. I had no clue he was going to propose to me that quickly. I knew that we had established that we indeed were going to get married and we wanted to, but I was not expecting it to be like, boom. So an important date in my journey is May 18th because that is when my now husband proposed to me, and it was really magical. And maybe I'll do another video on that whole story because I could go into so much detail about that. But anyways, I'm sorry for rambling. So after that, we also decided that we were gonna get married right away. So we set a date, May 26th. I was engaged for like a week. Yeah, it was funny because I had just started getting used to calling him my fiance, and then we were getting married. But May 24th, or 21st, I meet with my oncologist for the first time. Just, hi, this is who I am, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. May 20th, I told her, like, we're getting married, yay! So May 26th, I get married. We got married in South Lake Tahoe, on the beach. I'll make a video about our wedding as well. We didn't really, like, spend money. We had our closest friends and family, and that was about it. I think there were less than 20 people at our wedding. So meet with the oncologist. She orders medicine for me for my side effects and symptoms and stuff, and a bunch of lab work. So fast forward, I've been married now. I've met with my oncologist, whom I love to death. She is amazing. One thing I will say that I'm very happy about as I go through this, I have almost, like, I think every single one of my doctors is a female. and I feel like the female power on my side. It's truly amazing. So June 3rd, I met with my oncologist again, and with my grandparents and my parents and my now husband. And I was supposed to go on vacation because I'd recently reconnected with my mom's side of the family. So I was supposed to spend like a month in Florida with my husband, and we were going to go on our honeymoon out there. And she basically said, if you cannot go on vacation, that'd be great. And that treatment options may be limited when I come back, or non-existent when I come back. She also told me that my official diagnosis is neuroendocrine tumors that are cancerous. And so the main ones are in the liver, and she explains that has caused my liver enzymes to go up and like all these things, and she's going over everything, and we're like, okay, well, we'll shorten the vacation. That's the solution. Is that we'll make it like 2 weeks instead of 4, so we can still go on our honeymoon and spend some time with family. And she says, okay. And one last thing that she explained, because we basically went over the fact that my liver enzymes are increasing, and we don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. We don't know where I'm going to be in a couple weeks. So, and we don't know if treatment will still be an option when I get back. So, in front of my grandparents and my parents and my husband and myself, she explains what liver failure looks like, and basically how I would die if my liver failed, either while I'm on vacation or in the event that I come back and I'm basically like just kind of can't do anything about this, which was very eye-opening. But I'm also a very stubborn person, and I'm like, I'm going on vacation, I'll be fine. And she said, is there anything that I could do that would convince you otherwise? And I said no. And she's like, okay, well, part of me being your doctor is supporting things that you think are going to make you happy. And if this is going to make you happy and feel good, then I will back you up on that. I said, okay, cool. I'm supposed to get on a red eye the next day. We had talked about getting a second opinion at UCSF just to have, which my oncologist actually recommended the doctor to us on the first visit. So we had scheduled an appointment for that morning in San Francisco. So I meet with the UCSF doctor, who's also a woman, and she's amazing, and she is the leading research doctor there in not only gastrointestinal cancers but neuroendocrine tumors. She's been leading lots of research because this is a newer cancer compared to all the other ones. So I'm supposed to go on this vacation, and we were there for 2 hours just talking, asking questions. She posed the whole question of, when's the last time you felt good? She explained things in a way where we understood the science behind it, but she didn't make us feel stupid, but she did dumb it down for us so that we could understand. And that was really important, and I felt very comfortable, and I felt like I understood everything. She also stated again that this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, we have no idea. And she explains that, yes, you're supposed to leave tonight and it's last minute, but it is imperative that you start treatment, and you really should consider not going on vacation and starting treatment. So we walk out of the appointment, and my family is very much like, this is your decision, this is up to you, and we support you no matter what you want to do. We know what we think is right, but you need to do what you want to do. And I said, I don't want to go on vacation. And they were like, oh, thank God. They were like, oh, she finally gave up. I was like, I don't want to go on vacation. I want to start treatment as soon as possible. I realized that I want to fight and I want to be around. I don't want to risk not being around for myself, for my family, for my friends, everybody. So, yeah. June 6th, I have an appointment to get a PICC line put in. I actually have my scar, you can kind of see right there. It's just a little purpley dot. But it was basically started here, goes up my arm, and into my heart. So, that's another video where I could go on a whole other rant about, not rant, a whole other story, but it took like 2 hours. It was a very interesting experience. The only other time I had a PICC line, I went in for surgery and I woke up and it was in. So I was like, this is easy and quick. And she was like, no, this is long and kind of painful. I also had it in for a very long time, and it was so annoying because I'd have to go in for dressing changes, and I actually have like permanent, it's not permanent, but I had rashes on rashes, like my skin was like red and bumpy, and I had like little bubbles of pus growing because my skin was like just not reacting to the bandages very well, and it was this whole thing, and I had to wait so long to get it taken out, and like I cried when they took it out. I was so happy. I still have discoloration in my arm that has slowly been going away, but for about a month I had to put cream on it to make it heal, which was really annoying. But yeah. So, June 7th, the next day, I immediately go in for chemo. First round of chemo wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was pretty brutal as far as I just lost the day. I went in on a Friday. I went in the chair for 3 hours. They gave you a bunch of nausea medication, one of which is actually an antipsychotic that has been known to relieve nausea. I asked them not to give that to me anymore because it knocks me out and my entire day is gone. I am asleep all day long and I don't feel good, and I feel disoriented when I wake up because I'm not a person who's supposed to be on antipsychotic meds, so it does help with nausea, but I'm like, please don't.